Welcome back to the Enfield Talking newspaper. We return to local news with Janet.
The royal family is known for their love of all things equine, and Princess Anne underlined the point when she gave her seal of approval to the School of Animal Management and Saddlery at Capel Manor Cottage in Ballsmore Lane, Enfield. After an official opening ceremony, the school will now be known as the Princess Royal College of Animal Management and Saddlery. Visiting the college, the princess, who won a slew of horse riding competitions in her youth and whose daughter Zara Phillips won a silver team eventing medal in the 2012 Olympic Games, met staff and students at the college. The new 1,000 square metre building includes housing for exotic animals and reptiles, laboratories, classrooms, a dog grooming parlour and a teaching veterinary unit. Saddlery student Fred Eastwood met the princess when his class presented her with a gift of a special-made bridle, and he's described her as a lovely lady. We spoke and she was very interested in the course, the 17-year-old told the Advertiser. She did not commission any saddles from him, but Fred thinks their rapport will pay off maybe next year, he suggested confidently. Malcolm Goodwin, vice principal of the college, admitted he was hugely proud of the staff and students who had led the princess on a private tour of the facilities. Not only of the students, who reacted beautifully, he said, they were intelligent and informative and were lovely to her. I'm proud of the guys who worked so hard to get everything ready. Mr. Goodwin added that having a royal visitor meant a lot to the college. It means a huge amount to the students who were there, the future students and to the staff. She seemed enormously impressed, not only with the animal side of things, but the whole cacophony of what we do.
Mud, fun and the tears of politicians were the fallout from a winter festival held in Enfield over the weekend. Mike Rye, the Conservative councillor for Town Ward, was furious that the local authority had agreed to let a charity fundraising event take place on Chase Green on the corner of Chase Side and Windmill Hill. The Nightingale Cancer Support Centre was given permission to hold the event, complete with a family fun, including a synthetic ice rink and stalls selling arts and crafts and homemade food, as well as face painting and games for children to help the charity raise money ahead of Christmas. But Mr. Rye did not share the festive cheer of families and residents who boosted the charity's coffers. He is furious that the festival was allowed to take place, insisting that the event had ruined the grass and gardens near the War Memorial. He told the Advertiser that the green was a sensitive location and said greater care should be taken when giving the green light to events on the green. He said the licence to let the event take place should never have been given in the first place, as it breaches the council's own policy. The council knew there was always going to be damage on that area if large events take place there. Mr. Rice stressed that he fully supported the fundraising efforts and his issue with the space was not in any way an attack on the charity. A spokeswoman for Enfield Council pointed out that the event helped to raise thousands of pounds to support the charity, which works with residents in the borough living with cancer. Alas, as a result of the wet weather, the area was a little muddy, which will require some minor maintenance, she said. She explained that because of recent changes in the law, an occasional sales licence was obtained to allow storeholders and trade and all the other family activities did not require a licence.
Rugby now, and Saracens maintained their perfect start to the season by romping to a 48-18 points victory against Worcester in the Aviva Premiership. The match was played at Twickenham as part of the annual London double-header, and Sarries, who were officially the home side, took control of the game early on, as tries from Chris Ashton and Ben Spencer helped them to open up a 20 to 6 point lead by half-time. Saracens, for whom Ernst Stuber was making his final appearance prior to retirement, continued their dominance in the second half, with Ashton, Jackson Ray, Shout Brits and Ben Ransom all crossing the line to wrap up the bonus points before Joe Rees and G.J. Van Veltz grabbed late consolation tries for Worcester. Charlie Hodgson converted all 6 of Sarri's tries and also kicked 2 penalties to enable him to become the first man ever to score 2,500 points in the Premiership. We're pleased with where we are in the table at the moment, said Director of Rugby Mark McCall. There are a lot of Premiership matches during the Six Nations and none of us can say for certain which of our players will be missing for those games. So in the meantime, it's important that we get as many points as we can. The first half was a bit unkind to Worcester. We didn't have a lot of ball and didn't have much pressure on them during periods. They're a very well-organised team who are energetic and fight hard for each other, so it's no surprise at all when they scored 2 tries in the last 10 minutes. Ben was wonderful. He produced a great first half performance, created the first try and scored the second and kicked beautifully all the way through. He's had to be patient. Hopefully he can follow Jamie George's example, who was patient and then went straight into the England setup. Meanwhile, Hodgson has confirmed that he will be calling time on his illustrious career at the end of the season to become Sarri's head of recruitment and talent identification. McCall added, "We're delighted that Charlie will be staying on at Saracens in such an important capacity. It's great for the club to provide our players with a pathway into a different career. As a guy with such rugby knowledge and intelligence, Charlie is tailor-made for the role, and he will prove to be a huge asset for the club going forward."
Tennis courts, which provide free space for exercise, are under threat from a plan to expand Edmonton Cemetery, say Conservative politicians. A report due to be considered by Enfield Council's Cabinet in February seeks to expand the cemetery off the A10 Great Cambridge Road to provide new provisions for burials. But Town Ward Councillor Joanne Laban fears for the future of the courts beside the A10, saying their loss would be a blow. She told the Advertiser, "If we want to find the next Andy Murray, then tennis courts such as these should not only be kept, but publicised more." She said, "Who has conceded that the idea to expand the graveyard was first put forward by her colleagues in the Conservative group when they controlled the council?" And she insisted the proposals were shelved when they realised how unpopular they were. Cabinet Member for Environment Daniel Anderson said, "We have a major problem with cemetery space. We need to find new areas for burials, and the preferred way is to do this through expanding existing cemeteries. With regard to the loss of the tennis courts, we're in talks with the Lawn Tennis Association to redirect resources into places that would be better for playing tennis, such as our parks."
For anyone other than blonde-haired princesses or golden-haired little boys, it can be hard to find reflections of yourself in greetings cards. The difficulty of getting a card depicting black or ethnic minority representation was driven home for former city worker Cheryl Johnson from Edmonton on a shopping expedition in 4 Street. This is the heart of a large, multicultural and diverse part of Enfield, but even here, cards depict a singular type of saccharine, pink and white femininity. There was nothing Cheryl wanted to buy for her daughter, nieces or friends. I looked at what was on offer and I said to my mum, who I was with, "There's a gap in the market. I am going to design my own cards," she told the Advertiser. I believe there is a huge need for black cards, cards that reflect people who look like me and my relatives. Also, there are very few cards that relate to anyone who is a little bit different, people who aren't a size 6, for example. Where are they represented and shown positively? Up until January this year, Cheryl worked with an investment bank. that when she was made redundant, she decided to take stock and to take her time about choosing which direction to move next. On top of redundancy, she had spent 2 years battling a rare brain disorder, chorea, a disease that stems from the meningitis bacteria that had somehow infected her central nervous system. I always thought that I wasn't creative, but I think I just never had the time before, she said. So when I was made redundant, I thought, this is an opportunity, this is a good one. I thought, this is it. So I had a break. I thought, I'm not going to work, I won't rush into anything, and it gave me time to work on this. She launched her venture along with 14 other business owners as part of a day celebrating black entrepreneurial skills in Enfield, in the Dugdale Centre, in London Road, Enfield Town. Cheryl is also angry that popular culture depicts young black men wearing hoodies and trainers as a threat, existing on the edges of society in readiness for violence, and is hoping her designs will help to change that narrative. I want to have pictures on my cards of boys in hoods reading books, she said. Her motto, printed above one of the designs of a young black girl with her head buried in a book, reads, "Dream big, reach for the stars." Cheryl's cards are available to buy from www.fearlesssteps.co.uk, and she is hoping they will also be in local shops along with accessories including tote bags.
A man who was part of a gang who conspired to flood the streets of London with cocaine has been jailed for 10 years. Warren Gravett, 47, of Old Dairy Square, Winchmore Hill, was one of 3 men found guilty of dealing cocaine. Police found 75 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of £15.6 million and was found to be some of the purest seen in the UK. Records found 1,157 deals had been made by the 3 men with a total income of £23 million. Detective Inspector Paul Foreman from the Met's Organised Crime Command said these 3 men were big players in the supply of cocaine to the streets of London and beyond. They had set up a highly sophisticated operation, taking delivery of vast amounts of cocaine and mixing it with cutting agents before selling it on at enormous profit. The drugs were incredibly pure and worth huge amounts of money, but a lengthy and meticulous police operation succeeded in dismantling their operation, and I am pleased at the substantial jail terms they received. Ronald Hook, 36, of Blue Bridge Road, Brookman's Park, Herts, was jailed for 22 years, with Spencer Pazink, 41, of Peregrine Close, Bishop Stortford, jailed for 13 years. On October 5, 2013, police swooped and arrested Pazink as he entered the unit with 6 kilos of cocaine worth £1.8 million. Hook was arrested the same day at his home. Gravett fled to Amsterdam, where he was arrested on a European arrest warrant in January 2014. As Dutch police detained him, he attempted to eat a piece of paper which detailed the alphanumerical code he used to communicate with his co-conspirators. The men were convicted at Southwark Crown Court of conspiracy to supply cocaine between March the 1st and October the 6th, 2013. Hook was found guilty by a jury, and the remaining 3 had pleaded guilty. 2 further men pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine on February the 4th, 2014. Sergio Gomez, then 38, of Ivy Church Lane, Peckham, was jailed for 12 years, and Camilo Valencia Garcia, then 33, of Ravenhill Road, E13, was also jailed for 12 years.
While the Palmer's Green Christmas lights switched on might not have attracted the big-name celebrities of the West End illuminations, youngsters from a primary school filled the air with festive cheer to mark the occasion. The Year 3 to Year 6 pupils from Hazelwood School in Hazelwood Lane, Palmer's Green, regaled crowds of shoppers with festive carols and songs at the Palmer's Green Triangle, where the large furze tree was put up and decked with lights and tinsel. While the children serenade the onlookers included Enfield South MP David Burrows, who was flicking the switch, staff and volunteers from the Ruth Winston Centre in Green Lanes were on hand with hot drinks to warm the cockles of those whose hearts who were not already melted by the pupils' singing. Kathy Halpburn, the musical coordinator of Hazelwood School, praised her stars. The singing was just beautiful. Palmer's Green community leader Costas Georgiou had been at the head of the campaign to see off proposals to transform Green Lanes into a cycling paradise. But lobbying was forgotten while he organised the festivities. However, the Advertiser can confirm that Father Christmas will definitely not be swooping along Green Lanes on a customised bike in 3 weeks, as he will be sticking with his traditional sleigh and reindeer.
Calls for the council to sell off some of its 3,000 properties have been rebuffed by local authority chiefs. Members of the opposition urged the council to sell underperforming assets to bail itself and Enfield taxpayers out. The calls come after the Chancellor said councils will be able to keep 100% of receipts from sale of property in the spending review. Councillor Ayrton Hura, Enfield Conservatives finance spokesman, said Enfield Council's property portfolio is vast. Whilst a good percentage of it will not be suitable for sale, some of the commercial and rural assets are poorly managed, do not bring in anywhere near the levels of revenue they should, and would be better off sold. Councillor Hura added, thanks to spending 6 years burying their heads in the sand, Enfield Labour-run council has mounted debts and projected budget overspends. However, Councillor Doug Taylor, leader of the council, labelled the Conservatives as mischievous and misguided. He told the Enfield Independent, we only have to look at the Conservative Lord Porter's comments, who states further cuts will push councils over the edge. We cannot sell all our properties because that includes schools, parks, bandstands and toilets. I am all in favour of selling off properties that we do not need, but to say that would wipe out our debt is simply not true. This is an attempt to obscure the fact that the government is making cuts to make things worse for the local authority.
Manager Bradley Quinton expressed his disappointment after Enfield Town Football Club again let slip a 2-goal lead as they were held to a 2-2 draw at home by Mersham in the Ryman Premier Division. Town's previous home league match against Billericay Town had seen them go 2-0 ahead before being pegged back, and history repeated itself in this encounter as their poor recent run continued. The hosts had impressed in the first half and deservedly took the lead through skipper Stanley Mwygo's first goal for the club. And victory seemed assured when Nathan Livings doubled their advantage from the spot in the early stages of the second half, with the opposition having keeper John Smith sent off for the foul which resulted in the penalty. But even though midfielder Simon Cooper was forced to take over in goal for the rest of the match, the 10-men visitors staged a remarkable fight back. I thought we played really well in the first half, Quinton said. We got ourselves in a position where we were 2-0 up against 10 men and were looking comfortable. But we got complacent and went a bit gung-ho and poured forward and paid the price because they got 2 chances and took them. We created so many chances and we've got to stop letting teams off the hook. It felt like a loss in the end. I was very angry that we threw 2 points away again, and I let the guys know that. They are fighting for their shirts even more now, and we're looking to bring a few new faces in. The match had started positively for the hosts, and they broke the deadlock on 17 minutes when a Livings corner was palmed away by Smith under pressure, and Mwygo pounced to smash the ball in off the underside of the bar. Town then took a firm grip on the match in the 2nd minute of the second half when they were awarded a penalty after Smith clattered into Corey Whiteley just inside the box as he raced clear. Smith saw red for the foul, and with no replacement keeper on the bench, Cooper took over in goal, with his first touch being to pick the ball out of the net as Livings scored the penalty. However, the visitors reduced their deficit on 54 minutes as the hosts were caught on the break, and Willock slotted in the rebound after Charlie Penny's initial shot had been parried by keeper Nathan MacDonald. Harry Ottaway fired against the bar as Town pressed for a third, but the goal wouldn't come, and the visitors grabbed an unlikely equaliser after 13 minutes left, Saraiva collecting Penny's pass and drilling a low shot into the net.
A thug who assaulted a man after stealing his bike has been jailed for 12 years. Imani Coleman, 20, of Carthatch Lane, Enfield, took a 45-year-old man's bike outside a shop in West Green Road, Haringey. As the man caught up with Coleman and Cedric Nadine, 19, of no fixed address, the pair, along with the third man, viciously attacked the victim. He was stabbed in the back and kicked in the body and head while he lay unconscious on the floor. This assault was only stopped when a passerby intervened. The group of three were spotted by police and ran off, discarding the knife used to stab the victim. Naday was arrested at the scene on May the 25th, with Coleman being arrested on June the 18th. The third man is yet to be found. Detective Constable Rob Buckley from Haringey CID said, "This was an entirely unprovoked assault that stemmed from Coleman's desire to steal a bicycle. The victim suffered numerous injuries that required extensive medical treatment. Coleman was given 12 years imprisonment for assault and 1 month in prison after pleading guilty to theft. Naday was also sentenced to 12 years behind bars for assault."
Therapeutic gardens will be created at Chase Farm Hospital to help dementia, stroke and neuro-rehabilitation patients. 2 underused outdoor spaces at the hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield, will be transformed into therapeutic sanctuaries by next summer if £120,000 can be raised towards the project. 1 garden will be designed to promote memory recall and stimulate the senses through smell and colour, supporting dementia patients. The other is designed for stroke and neuro-rehabilitation patients. It is hoped that both will enable people to take part in group gardening and horticultural therapy in the fresh air, develop muscle strength and balance, and enjoy a quiet, peaceful place away from their ward. Research shows that horticultural therapy can improve motivation, self-esteem and self-confidence, limit anxiety levels, promote independence and social interaction, and reduce the risk of depression. A patient, Ryan, who has spent time on the hospital's Cape Town ward, said, "I've been here 8 days so far and I've not been outside. It's currently wasted space. If it was patient-friendly, it would be so much better than being indoors. We could go outside and relax." Joyce, a patient on Adelaide ward, added, "I feel isolated. If I can go outside and watch things grow, I have something to look forward to and a reason to get up." Chase Farm Charity has enough funds to start phase 1 of the project and is urging members of the community to get involved too.
Detectives investigating a fatal collision in Edmonton are searching for the occupants of a car which stopped nearby. A pedestrian, Ibrahim Ahmet, 58, was taken to hospital after the accident in Hertford Road, near Forest Road, at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, October the 27th. He died later that week. Now police are seeking to trace the people in a red or maroon car thought to be a Vauxhall Frontera, which was travelling north. The vehicle was spotted on CCTV. The driver of the Ford Fiesta car involved in the collision also stopped at the scene. Detective Sergeant Stuart Henson of the Serious Collision Investigation Unit said, "The occupants of this vehicle are potentially vital witnesses. We are keen to speak with them or anyone else who may have witnessed the collision." The unit can be contacted at Chadwell Heath and their telephone number is 020 8597 4874. I'll give you that number again. It's Chadwell Heath and it's 020 8597 4874.
People enjoyed an early Christmas treat as more than 1,000 mince pies were delivered across the borough. It was a hap pie Christmas in Enfield as the Tesco Mince Pie van rolled into town. Paul Harrison and Vanessa Collier dropped mince pies off to spread festive cheer. Before the delivery, Mr. Harrison said, "I'm really excited about the mince pie run. It's definitely a good way to get people in the festive mood. I'll be gently knocking on people's doors in Enfield, handing out free packs of Tesco mince pies and saying, 'Hello.'"
Enfield Council has been honoured for its work with small businesses. The local authority was awarded the prestigious accolade at the Small Business Friendly Borough Awards for helping businesses gain access to the public sector. Councillor Alan Sitkin, Cabinet Member for Economic Regeneration and Business Development, said, "Local businesses are the lifeblood of our economy, and Enfield works hard to ensure that our small suppliers are aware of how to do successful business with us and are encouraged to do so. Hearing that we have won this category is a real thumbs up for the local economy and is a testament to the hard work going on behind the scenes to help our local businesses prosper." Judges at the ceremony commented that Enfield provided a strong bid as they made the announcement.
Southgate Hockey Club will head into the winter break on a high after consolidating second place in the Conference East of the English Hockey League by securing a 2-1 victory at Bromley and Beckenham. The visitors took control of the match early on as Duncan Scott and Matt Guys-Brown both scored inside the first 11 minutes, and although Nicholas Blewett pulled one back early in the second half, they held on for a valuable win. The result leaves Southgate just 2 points behind leaders Richmond as the league heads into a 2-month break, with the sides next in action in the Super Sixes on January the 9th. Meanwhile, Southgate ladies claimed a 3-1 victory at home to Oxford University in Division 1 of the South League. And in Rugby Union, Enfield Ignatians were handed a bye in the Rugby Football Union Intermediate Cup as scheduled visitors Campion conceded the match. We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Janet, Sally, Keith and Robin on the controls, it's goodbye.
We wish you a Merry Christmas from Group A.
Yeah. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diana Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking newspaper. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.